Welcome, everyone, to the Iifx podcast series. Today, we're very fortunate to welcome Jeff Boehm, Chief Operating Officer from Wicket.
Today's fans expect more when they come to a game. Elevate your fans' game day experience. Say goodbye to long lines and yesterday's technology and say hello to Wicket facial authentication. Starting with the minute fans arrive, Wicket enhances the stadium experience. Instead of long lines and manual barcode scanning, Wicket allows fans to just walk up, show their face, and walk in. Wicket shortens lines and allows teams to reimagine where and how fans enter the stadium, providing new activation and sponsorship opportunities. No one likes long concessions and merchandise lines. It's frustrating and leads to abandonment and lost revenue. Wicket facial payments speeds up purchasing, encouraging fans to buy more gear, food, and drink, and getting them back to their seats faster. Treat your VIPs with style. Faster stadium access and expedited entry to clubs, suites, and luxury seats. Wicket notifies your staff so they can greet your VIPs and provide them with white glove service. Wicket offers the same experience for staff, press, players, and coaches. No more fumbling with physical keycards or worrying about lost, stolen, or compromised credentials. Now, they can access restricted areas or training facilities with the one thing they can never lose, their face. The Cleveland Browns found fans were able to enter the stadium 4 times faster with fewer ticketing lanes thanks to Wicket. And in a fan poll, the New York Mets saw that 90% of their fans said they liked the Wicket program at Citi Field expanded. Enrolling in Wicket is easy, and registration pages can be customized to be on brand. Teams and fans can rest assured knowing that Wicket is entirely opt-in. Fan data is owned by the team and will never be shared or sold to third parties. Learn more about how Wicket facial authentication can improve your fan experience and strengthen stadium security by visiting wicketsoft.com or contacting us at hello@wicketsoft.com.
Jeff, welcome to the podcast, and really fortunate to have you. You know, what I hear every day from the venues and the presidents and et cetera is they want to increase revenues, they want to maintain or increase attendance, and they want to improve operational efficiency. How does Wicket do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. And thanks for having me on, Lou. We really enjoyed the partnership with Iifx and excited to be here to talk to you today. And I think it's a great lead in. Wicket is all about improving that fan experience, again, which is a perfect tie-in to Iifx. And it is all about making it easier for fans to get into stadiums, to complete purchases, to sort of enjoy the game day experience, which leads to more purchases. It leads to more fans coming to the games, and it also streamlines the operations. So it really does touch on those points that you brought up around increasing revenue and improving the fan experience and streamlining and strengthening the operational efficiencies of the organization.
And tell everyone I would say the focus of everything is on face recognition in a sense. So how do we handle that? How does that happen? How does Wicket get started? That's all interesting, to everyone.
Yeah, so let me break that into a couple areas, Lou. So in terms of how Wicket got started, there was sort of a predecessor company that had facial recognition technology, and COVID hit, and the Cleveland Browns, along with a lot of other teams, were looking for ways to get fans back into the stadium safely in the fall of 2020, when some states were opening up and had different restrictions about how fans were allowed in or how many fans you could get in. And so we actually partnered with the Browns and took this existing technology we had and developed a facial ticketing solution that allowed fans to enroll at home by taking a selfie and then showing up at the stadium and looking at an iPad. And they didn't even have to take their COVID mask off. They could keep their COVID mask on, look at an iPad, and walk in. They didn't need to take out their phones. They could do so with proper distancing, and it helped fans safely and easily get into the stadium. And it was a great success in the fall of 2020, and the Browns have since expanded it. As you heard in there, we started again with the core. It is facial recognition technology because we are recognizing a face. But unfortunately, in the industry today or in the world at large, there's a lot of sort of questions about facial recognition technology, especially when it's applied to surveillance applications or policing or trying to keep people out of areas. We're very focused on, as I said already, that fan experience and helping people get into a facility or helping people complete a purchase or, validate that they should be in an area. And so we tend to use the term facial authentication instead of facial recognition. And it's all about it's opt-in. Only the people who want to participate in the program will have their pictures taken. It's all about making things better and easier for the fans, not about keeping people out. It's about helping people get in. And so that's sort of why we use facial authentication as opposed to what you see in other places of facial recognition.
So what would be the biggest impediments to organizations to deploy Wicket?
Yeah, so and so we want to get over that sort of cultural misunderstanding about how this technology is used. And the teams we work with are very upfront with their fans about, look, this is opt-in. You can choose to participate. We're not using this technology to block you. We're not sharing this data with anybody else. We're not selling it to law enforcement or anything else. This is all about improving that fan experience so that you can get in and enjoy the game, right? It's all about helping fans enjoy the game and helping, the press get onto the field more easily or helping staff get into the locker rooms where they're supposed to be more easily. It's about improving that experience, not about trying to police or block people.
Now, I totally agree with you. What are some of the key success factors for driving the fan and the user adoption?
Yeah, so I think so. There's a few things here, Lou. I think one of the big areas is communications, right? This is a process change, kind of like when the industry moved from paper tickets to mobile tickets. People had to explain to fans why would I want to use mobile tickets? What's the benefit of that? How do I use mobile tickets? How do I ensure that I have a good experience with mobile tickets? The same thing applies here. I think it's important for teams, and again, the teams we work with do this, to just talk about this a lot, include it in the, when you're first buying your tickets or when you're reselling your tickets or in the know before you go emails, just having lots of communications and making it really easy for fans to enroll, being upfront about that data safety and security so that fans have confidence that, again, their information isn't being shared or misused in some way, that they are, that they can feel confident that this is only being used to help me get into the stadium faster or complete a transaction. I think also having a lot of game day communications and on-site activations can help. When I was out at the Cleveland Browns game in the fall, we see hundreds of fans sign up on site because they show up, you come out of tailgating and you want to get into the stadium right away, and you show up and there's a big long line because everybody else is doing the same thing. And so we literally have people out there with a QR code. You can scan it and you can take a selfie right there, connect it to your ticketing account, and then go walk in these express entry lanes and walk right in. And so it's having that easy enrollment, clear communications. There's signage around the stadiums telling people that, hey, next time you should use this fast entry, or you can get a beer faster, with your face. And so having that, I think, is really important. So it's the communications, it's being upfront about the data privacy, and then it's a lot of on-site activations and engagement with those fans.
Well, I was very fortunate to have this experience you just mentioned at the SEC championship game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. And it was a joy. I mean, I just went right in all day long. I had access to everything, concessions. It was pretty phenomenal experience. So I did experience your
That's great.
work. Now, I was thinking of the Cleveland Browns. What I know you say sign. You would say on the season ticket, 80% of the people signed up,
I
50%.
think yeah, I think at this point the Browns have around 50% of season ticket holders who have signed up at this point. So it's it's growing. I think the other thing we're finding is that as you expand the use cases and there's additional benefits to enrolling, more people want to enroll. And so a good example of this last year, the Browns have had the express entry for a number of years that help people get into the stadium faster. But last year they rolled out Express Beer, where they have special kiosks around the stadium where if you enroll ahead of time, and in that case, we're also verifying your ID, so we know that you're over 21 and that you have a form of payment on file. You can walk up to these Express Beer kiosks and pick up a beer and a bag of chips, and you walk up and the iPad says, "Hi, Lou, I recognize you. I see you have a credit card on file. I see you're verified as being over 21. Just tap on the screen and say what beer you got and what chips you got, and you walk away. And you don't have to pull out your ID or your wallet. It just speeds up that concessions process so I can get back out to the game. And so as fans see, hey, there's multiple benefits for me enrolling here, we're getting more and more fans enrolling in the overall sort of express program at these stadiums.
Where it's just fantastic. Where you want to increase use cases? Where let's say, what's the next step for Wicket?
Yeah, so right now, so again, ticketing was the first one. Right now there's sort of 3 or 4 primary use cases that we see at these stadiums that are using. So ticketing, already talked about concessions, and obviously there's merchandising and any place else that you're buying something within the stadium. Talked about credentialing. So a number of leagues and teams are seeing the benefits of using this for authenticating who should be getting onto the field or who should be getting into the locker room or into the press box. There's too many stories in the news about people faking credentials or sharing a credential with somebody else. You can't do that with your face, right? There's no way I can give my face to somebody else. So if you want to really control who's getting access to the field on the game day, using facial authentication, facial credentialing for that is great. A number of these teams also have, corporate offices or training facilities or other places where instead of having an access card or a PIN code, you just walk up and it recognizes you and lets you into that facility. And again, makes that facility more secure. You can imagine around the stadium, there are myriad places where you need to be sort of validating that you are allowed to proceed, whether that is because I have a ticket, or because I'm over 21, or because I have a credential, or because I have a payment, or because I have a parking pass, or whatever it may be. Any place that you need to sort of validate your permissions, you should be able to use your face to do that. You shouldn't have to remember to carry your tickets or carry your phone or carry anything else with you. You just use your face, and your face is your ticket. Your face is your credential. Your face is your payment. Your face is your validation.
Yeah, 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 no question. Well, where is Wicket used today? Where are we today with Wicket
Yeah.
in
So
sports industry?
yeah, of course. So we started, as I said, with the Browns in 2020. At this point, we are in, I think, somewhere around 20 to 25 stadiums around the US, across all 5 major leagues. So we're in obviously a number of NFL teams, Major League Soccer, NBA, NHL, MLB. So we're continuing to grow across those professional teams. We also Tennis Australia rolled us out at the Australian Open this year, as a first test there. USGA is just rolling us out right now at the US Women's Open and the US Open, the golf tournament. In fact, we developed a really cool new feature with them that we'll be using elsewhere called Day Pass, where you have re-entry, where once you're in a facility, as opposed to getting a hand stamp or a wristband to get in and out, you just use your face and you walk up and say, I want to leave, and come back in. You take a picture, and on the way back in, it says, yep, that's the same person who just left, so they're allowed back in. And again, it makes that exit and re-entry more secure. So yeah, we're across a lot of different sports. We are also in other spaces. A number of big conferences are using us. You think about going to a big conference. The first thing you do is you go up and get your badge printed, and you have to wait in a long line to validate, is my badge, am I supposed to be at this facility to get my badge printed? So Salesforce, as an example, the
Yeah.
CRM company, used us at their events like Dreamforce last year, where people were able to get their badge printed that much faster because they were just using their face rather than having to go type into a kiosk and look up their registration record or anything. So yeah, so we're very broad across sort of sports and live events is really our focus.
Well, that's fantastic. How does Wicket differ from other biometric technologies?
Yeah, so I think, and then certainly there's a lot of other biometric technologies out there, whether it's facial recognition or fingerprinting or iris scanning, et cetera. I think one big difference for us is we are really focused on this sports and live event segment, and we've become the real sort of de facto expert in this space. Given the number of teams we've worked with, we've had more than 1 million entries into facilities using our technology at this point, and we've learned from that. And we've built the integrations with all the ticketing platforms and the point of sale systems and the credentialing platforms. And so, there are other biometric technologies out there, but if you want something that's really tailor-made for sports and live events, Wicket is the go-to player there. And as I said, we've learned from that. So as an example, what we find in sports that is different from going to a conference or accessing a building is often you have large groups where I'm a ticket holder and I have 10 tickets, right? And I bring, 9 friends every time to the game with me. I don't want to have all of them enroll. I don't want to have to give them all tickets individually. Instead, I walk up as the ticket holder and it says, "Hi, Jeff, I see you have 10 tickets. You and your 9 friends can walk in all together now."
Yes.
Or the other scenario is if you walk up and say, "Actually, only 7 of my friends are here right now. The other 3 are coming later. I only want to validate 7 of those tickets right now." And you can do that. And so it doesn't auto redeem all the tickets. It gives you that flexibility for the different scenarios. And again, this is stuff we've learned over the years of, how to drive that best fan experience for everybody, again,
Yeah.
everybody coming to the event.
Yeah. Can you integrate with other components too as well?
Absolutely, yeah. So as I said, we've integrated with all the ticketing systems so that when you
Okay.
walk up, it's not just saying, "Hi, Jeff, I recognize you." It's saying, "Hi, Jeff, I recognize you, and you have these tickets." And that takes a call out to the ticketing platforms. In the same way, when you walk up to that express beer kiosk, it's saying not only, "Hi, Jeff, I recognize you, and I see you're over 21, but now I can, make a direct connection to the menu of the point of sale system to complete that transaction." In the same way with credentialing, "Hi, Jeff, I recognize you, and I see that you have a valid credential to get onto the field or to get into this locker room." And again, I think that sort of technology integrations that we have is it's a real unique factor for us in this space.
Well, where do you see the future going, both for Wicket and us? I mean, I say us, the industry.
Sure.
There's 109 touch points that we have discovered at the Institute for that fan to
Yeah.
go through to have that experience you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so we're starting to get into some areas that uh, are difficult at that touch point for success. And I think some of the solutions you mentioned might solve those. So as we both look at the future, where does Wicket go with the fan journey, right, to the future? So that'll be exciting. So where are we going to go?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, Lou. And this is where, again, I really enjoyed our partnership because I think it's great that you're looking at that sort of full fan journey and trying to understand from couch to seat and back home, what does that full fan journey look like? And to me, it's how do we remove friction, right? And how do we make every step in that process as easy as possible? Because fans aren't coming in order to stand in line or in order to have to fumble with tickets or in order to have to, hassle with anything. They're coming to watch the show, to experience the game, to be with their friends. And wherever we can remove friction, that's what we're trying to do. And that's, sort of our mantra at Wicket is enabling a sensational event experience. And, that event experience, there's multiple touch points, as you just pointed out, across that full fan journey of that experience.
Yeah.
And, we're still in the early days here, and we've mapped out a number of these that I think are working really well right now, as I said, from ticketing to concessions to credentialing. But there's quite a few more that we see, and we're working with our teams already, and partnering with them on how we really improve that full fan journey.
Hey, Jeff, our industry is changing even more so post-COVID, and we're noticing in the fan journey that everyone wants to be premium. How does Wicket help us accomplish that?
Yeah, it's a great question, Lou, and I think there's sort of two aspects to it. And the way we look at it at Wicket is, in many ways, we're making everybody a VIP. In fact, we had our champion at the Mets call it democratizing the VIP experience, where everyone is a VIP because you walk up and you see your name on the ticketing screen and you walk right in and you feel like a VIP. And I think that's great. The other thing is, though, we do look at and work with our teams on their sort of premium experience facilities. And,
Right.
for people who have a suite or have a premium experience, how do we make that experience even better for those premium guests, making it easy for them to get in and out of that area without having to remember to bring their phone, or, and sort of in many ways being a virtual handler that, validates that this person should or should not be in this area, and making that premium experience feel really special for those guests while giving everybody that VIP flair.
What can I say, Jeff? You're doing a great job. Wicket's making a big how would say it, change, evolution in our field. Maybe evolution is probably better than change.
Yeah.
And I think we're on the main street right now, moving forward with these changes. But I want to, personally thank you for spending time with us here at Iifx, and looking forward to continue to work even further with you as we try to make this fan journey even more better than it is today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lou. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and yes, looking forward to continuing to work with you on this journey.
Thank you, Jeff.